Welcome to Cage Reality. I will be your host for this one, the one and only Snoop Dogg. Now buckle up and listen. I, Dan, am writing this notebook as a record of my attempt to create the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary substance that has captivated the imagination of alchemists and scientists for centuries. This notebook contains my observations, hypotheses, and experimental results, as well as my reflections on the process and the potential implications of my research. It is my hope that this notebook will not only serve as a record of my work, but also inspire others to pursue their own scientific inquiries. However, I must caution that the creation of the Philosopher's Stone is a dangerous and complex endeavor that should not be undertaken lightly. The potential risks and consequences of this research are significant and should not be ignored. Therefore, I urge anyone who reads this notebook to approach the topic with caution, respect for nature, and a strong sense of responsibility. The pursuit of knowledge is a noble endeavor, but it must always be tempered by ethics, wisdom, and prudence. Once upon a time, in a world of magic and mystery, Dan, the powerful alchemist, set out to create the Philosopher's Stone. Dan had studied ancient texts and consulted with other alchemists, and had come to believe that the creation of the Philosopher's Stone was possible. Dan spent many years in the laboratory, tirelessly experimenting with various materials and concoctions. He searched high and low for the rare and precious ingredients required for the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. He brewed and distilled, mixed and heated, trying every combination of substances that he could think of. But despite his efforts, Dan could not seem to find the perfect recipe for the Philosopher's Stone. He began to doubt himself, wondering if he was chasing after a myth, a legend that was beyond the reach of even the greatest alchemists. But Dan was determined. He redoubled his efforts and continued his research, always looking for new insights and new materials to try. And then, one day, after years of toil, he stumbled upon a breakthrough. He had been experimenting with a rare mineral that he had obtained from a far-off land. He had mixed it with a special extract that he had obtained from a rare plant that grew only in the mountains. And then, as he was heating the mixture, he saw a flash of light, a spark that he had never seen before. Dan knew immediately that he had found what he had been looking for. He quickly wrote down the recipe, noting every detail of the process, every ingredient and every step. Dan had discovered the secret to creating the Philosopher's Stone. He had been experimenting with a rare mineral that he had obtained from a far-off land and a special plant extract that he had obtained from a mountainous region. The rare mineral that Dan had used was a type of green crystalline mineral that he had discovered deep in the mines of an ancient land. The mineral was said to have mystical properties and was highly sought after by alchemists for centuries. The plant extract that Dan had used was from a rare flowering plant that only grew in the highest peaks of the mountains. The plant was known to have potent healing properties and was often used in traditional medicine. Dan had combined the green mineral with the plant extract in a complex process that involved distillation, heating, and cooling. The result was a glowing liquid that shimmered in the light, giving off a mysterious energy that seemed to pulse with power. Dan knew that he had created something truly special, something that had the power to transform the world of alchemy forever. He carefully recorded every step of the process, ensuring that his discovery would be preserved for future generations. And so, with the creation of the Philosopher's Stone, Dan had achieved what many alchemists had thought was impossible. His legacy would live on for centuries, inspiring future generations of alchemists to push the boundaries of science and discovery. He had spent years experimenting with a rare mineral and a special plant extract, and had finally found the perfect combination of ingredients. Dan knew that he had to record every step of the process in order to preserve his discovery for future generations of alchemists. He carefully wrote down the following steps. 1. Obtain the rare green mineral from the mines of an ancient land. Crush the mineral into a fine powder. 2. Collect the rare flowering plant extract from the highest peaks of the mountains. Distill the extract to obtain a pure liquid. 3. Combine the powdered mineral and the plant extract in a glass flask. 4. Heat the flask over a fire until the mixture begins to boil. Use a thermometer to monitor the temperature and ensure that it does not exceed a certain level. 5. Once the mixture has boiled for a set period of time, remove it from the heat and let it cool for a few minutes. 6. Add a small amount of a special acid to the mixture. The acid must be added slowly and carefully, as it is highly reactive. 7. Heat the mixture again, this time to a higher temperature. This will cause a reaction to occur, and the liquid will begin to glow. 8. Once the reaction is complete, let the mixture cool again, and then filter it through a fine mesh to remove any impurities. 9. The resulting liquid is the Philosopher's Stone, a substance with the power to transform base metals into gold and grant immortality to those who possess it. Dan knew that his discovery was a momentous one, and he was eager to share it with the world. He hoped that his work would inspire future generations of alchemists to push the boundaries of science and discovery, and to unlock the secrets of the universe. Here are some elaborations on the steps Dan had recorded. 1. Obtain the rare green mineral from the mines of an ancient land. Crush the mineral into a fine powder. The green mineral that Dan had used was a rare crystal that he had discovered deep in the mines of an ancient land. To obtain the mineral, he had to travel to the far-off land and navigate treacherous mines filled with dangerous creatures and traps. Once he had obtained the mineral, he had to carefully crush it into a fine powder to make it easier to work with. 2. Collect the rare flowering plant extract from the highest peaks of the mountains. Distill the extract to obtain a pure liquid. The flowering plant that Dan had used was a rare species that only grew in the highest peaks of the mountains. To obtain the plant extract, he had to climb to the top of the mountain, battling harsh weather conditions and treacherous terrain. Once he had obtained the plant extract, he had to distill it to obtain a pure liquid that was free from impurities. 3. Combine the powdered mineral and the plant extract in a glass flask. Dan had to be very careful when combining the powdered mineral and the plant extract. He had to ensure that the two substances were mixed evenly, and that there were no lumps or clumps in the mixture. He used a glass flask because it was non-reactive and would not interfere with the experiment. 4. Heat the flask over a fire until the mixture begins to boil. Use a thermometer to monitor the temperature and ensure that it does not exceed a certain level. Dan had to heat the mixture in the glass flask over a fire until it began to boil. He used a thermometer to monitor the temperature and had to ensure that the temperature did not exceed a certain level, as this could cause the mixture to become unstable. 5. Once the mixture has boiled for a set period of time, remove it from the heat and let it cool for a few minutes. Dan had to be very precise with the amount of time he let the mixture boil. He had to remove it from the heat at exactly the right moment and then let it cool for a few minutes before proceeding with the next step. 6. Add a small amount of a special acid to the mixture. The acid must be added slowly and carefully, as it is highly reactive. Dan had to be very careful when adding the special acid to the mixture. The acid was highly reactive and could cause the mixture to become unstable if too much was added too quickly. He added the acid slowly and carefully, monitoring the reaction carefully. 7. Heat the mixture again, this time to a higher temperature. This will cause a reaction to occur, and the liquid will begin to glow. Dan had to heat the mixture again, this time to a higher temperature. As the temperature rose, a reaction began to occur, and the liquid in the flask began to glow. Dan watched the flask carefully, ensuring that the temperature did not get too high and that the reaction did not become too violent. 8. Allow the mixture to cool, and then pour it into a special mold. Once the reaction had completed, Dan allowed the mixture to cool before carefully pouring it into a special mold. The mold was made from a special type of glass that could withstand high temperatures and was designed to shape the Philosopher's Stone into its final form. 9. Place the mold into a special furnace and heat it to an even higher temperature. This will cause the Philosopher's Stone to solidify. Dan placed the mold into a special furnace and heated it to an even higher temperature. As the temperature rose, the Philosopher's Stone began to solidify, taking on its final form. He watched the process carefully, ensuring that the temperature did not get too high and that the Philosopher's Stone did not crack or break. 10. Remove the Philosopher's Stone from the mold and place it in a special case. The Philosopher's Stone is now complete and ready for use. Once the Philosopher's Stone had solidified, Dan carefully removed it from the mold and placed it in a special case. The Philosopher's Stone was now complete and ready for use. Dan had achieved the impossible, creating a mythical substance that was said to have the power to turn base metals into gold, extend life, and grant immense power and knowledge to those who possessed it. As Dan continued to observe the process, He noticed that the color of the mixture began to change as he added the rare mineral and plant extract. The deep green hue of the extract turned into a bright orange, while the mineral took on a more metallic luster. Dian also noticed that the reaction became more intense as he added the mineral and extract. The flask began to shake more violently, and the mixture began to emit a soft humming sound. Dian knew that he had to be careful, as any sudden movement or temperature fluctuation could cause the mixture to explode. To prevent any unwanted reactions, Dian constantly monitored the temperature of the mixture using a high-precision thermometer. He adjusted the temperature and the pressure inside the flask as necessary, ensuring that the reaction proceeded smoothly and safely. As the reaction progressed, Dian observed that the mixture began to emit a bright light. The light was so intense that Dian had to shield his eyes from the glare. This was a clear sign that the Philosopher's Stone was taking form inside the flask. Finally, when the reaction had completed, Dian could see the Philosopher's Stone inside the flask. The stone was a small, iridescent object that glowed with a strange inner light. Dian knew that he had succeeded in creating the Philosopher's Stone, a substance that many alchemists had sought for centuries. Dian knew that the process of creating the Philosopher's Stone went beyond just mixing rare minerals and plant extracts. It required a deep understanding of the fundamental principles of alchemy, as well as a spiritual connection to the elements. As he began the process, Dian purified his mind and body through meditation and fasting. He carefully selected the rare mineral and plant extract based on their unique properties and vibrations, seeking a harmonious combination that would create the Philosopher's Stone. Dian also performed several rituals during the process, including the use of sacred geometry and sigils to imbue the mixture with the correct energy and intention. He carefully traced the sigils in the air, visualizing the desired outcome and infusing the mixture with his own spiritual energy. Throughout the process, Dian remained focused and attentive, listening to the whispers of the elements and adjusting his actions accordingly. He knew that the creation of the Philosopher's Stone was a delicate and precise process, and that any mistake could lead to failure or even danger. As he reached the final stages of the process, Dian felt a deep sense of accomplishment and connection with the elements. He knew that he had achieved something truly extraordinary, and that the Philosopher's Stone he had created would have the power to transform not only base metals into gold, but also the lives of those who possessed it. Dian carefully recorded each step of the process in his notebook, taking note of the temperature, pressure, and timing of each action. He knew that this knowledge would be invaluable for future alchemists who sought to create the Philosopher's Stone, and that it would ensure that his own work could be replicated and built upon for generations to come. Dian's notebook contained detailed information about every aspect of the Philosopher's Stone creation process. In addition to the temperature, pressure, and timing of each action, it also contained detailed notes on the properties and energies of the rare mineral and plant extract that he used. Dian also included sketches of the sigils and symbols he used during the process, along with detailed explanations of their meaning and the intentions behind them. He believed that these details were crucial to replicating his work and unlocking the full potential of the Philosopher's Stone. Furthermore, Dian's notebook also contained a section on the spiritual aspects of alchemy, including meditations, rituals, and practices that he believed were essential to the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. He wrote in great detail about his experiences during the process, including the feelings of deep connection and spiritual transcendence that he experienced. Dian knew that his notebook contained valuable information, and he made sure to keep it safe and secure. He also planned to share his knowledge with other alchemists who were interested in the creation of the Philosopher's Stone, believing that this powerful substance could be used for the betterment of humanity if used properly. In addition to the notebook, Dian also created several replicas of the Philosopher's Stone itself. He carefully crafted each replica with the same attention to detail and intention that he used during the creation process, ensuring that they contained the same spiritual energy and properties as the original. Dian's creations were a testament to the power of alchemy and the human ability to unlock the secrets of the universe. He knew that his work would inspire future generations to explore the mysteries of the world and to seek out their own paths of enlightenment and transformation. The first page of Dian's notebook was filled with carefully drawn diagrams and formulas, along with a detailed description of the rare mineral and plant extract that he planned to use in his experiment. The rare mineral, which he had obtained from a remote mine in the Andes, was a deep blue crystalline substance that was highly sought after for its unique properties. Dan had spent months researching the mineral's composition and properties, and he believed that it held the key to unlocking the power of the Philosopher's Stone. The plant extract, which he had obtained from a rare flower in the Amazon rainforest, was a bright red liquid that was said to possess powerful healing properties. Dan believed that the combination of the rare mineral and plant extract would create a potent mixture that would be capable of transforming base metals into gold and unlocking the secrets of the universe. He had carefully weighed and measured each ingredient and had prepared the necessary equipment and tools for the experiment. As he began to mix the ingredients together, he felt a deep sense of excitement and anticipation, knowing that he was about to embark on a journey that few had ever dared to undertake. Dan meticulously recorded every step of the process, from the initial mixing of the ingredients to the final stages of the experiment. He took note of the temperature, pressure, and timing of each action, carefully adjusting his methods as needed to achieve the desired outcome. As he worked, Dan felt a sense of deep connection to the elements and to the universe itself. He knew that he was tapping into a power that few could comprehend, and that his work would have the potential to change the world in ways that he could only imagine. With each passing moment, the mixture began to change, glowing with an otherworldly energy that Dan could feel in every fiber of his being. He knew that he was on the verge of unlocking the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone, and that his work would be remembered for generations to come. The first page of Dan's notebook was a testament to his meticulous nature and deep understanding of alchemical principles. The page was covered with detailed diagrams and formulas, showing the chemical composition of the rare mineral and plant extract that he had chosen for his experiment. The diagrams showed the molecular structure of the rare mineral, with its complex lattice of interlocking atoms and its unique configuration of electrons. Dan had spent months studying the properties of the mineral, experimenting with different methods of extraction and purification to obtain the highest quality sample possible. The formulas on the page were equally complex, showing the precise ratios of ingredients that he would need to combine to create the Philosopher's Stone. These formulas were the result of years of research and experimentation and represented a deep understanding of the principles of alchemy. Dan had also included a detailed description of the rare plant extract that he had chosen for the experiment. The extract came from a rare flower that only grew in the most remote regions of the Amazon rainforest, and was said to possess powerful healing properties. The description included the scientific name of the plant, along with its chemical composition and the specific properties that made it so valuable in alchemical experiments. Dan had spent weeks carefully extracting the active compounds from the plant, using a variety of techniques to ensure the purity and potency of the final product. Overall, the first page of Dan's notebook was a testament to his deep understanding of alchemical principles and his meticulous attention to detail. The diagrams and formulas showed the complexity and sophistication of his work, while the detailed descriptions of the rare mineral and plant extract demonstrated the depth of his knowledge and expertise in the field. The formulas on the first page of Dan's notebook were a complex mix of symbols, numbers, and chemical equations, all designed to show the precise ratios of ingredients that he would need to combine to create the Philosopher's Stone. One of the key formulas on the page showed the process for creating the base material that would form the foundation of the Philosopher's Stone. It was a complex equation that involved combining a precise amount of the rare mineral with a specific ratio of other chemicals and catalysts. The result was a viscous, opaque liquid that had a distinct metallic smell. Another formula on the page showed the process for purifying the base material, removing any impurities that could interfere with the alchemical reaction. This involved a series of filtration and distillation steps, each carefully calibrated to ensure maximum purity and yield. Finally, there was a formula that showed the final step in the process, where the purified base material was combined with a rare plant extract to create the Philosopher's Stone. This step involved precise timing and temperature control, as well as careful monitoring of the reaction to ensure that the final product was of the highest possible quality. Overall, the formulas on the first page of Dan's notebook represented years of research and experimentation and demonstrated the depth of his knowledge and expertise in the field of alchemy. Each formula was carefully designed to ensure the precise ratios and conditions necessary for the successful creation of the Philosopher's Stone. The formulas on DAN's notebook were the culmination of years of research and experimentation in the field of alchemy. Each formula was carefully crafted to represent the precise ratios and conditions necessary for the creation of the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary substance said to possess incredible properties such as the ability to turn base metals into gold and to grant immortality. The base material formula, for example, showed the exact ratios of the rare mineral, other chemicals, and catalysts required to produce a substance that would serve as the foundation for the Philosopher's Stone. The process involved combining the ingredients in a specific order, with careful attention paid to the timing and temperature of the reaction. The purification formula, on the other hand, detailed the steps necessary to remove impurities from the base material, a critical step to ensure that the final product was of the highest possible quality. The process involved a series of filtration and distillation steps, with each step carefully calibrated to maximize yield and purity. Finally, the formula for creating the Philosopher's Stone itself was the most complex of all. It required precise timing, temperature control, and careful monitoring of the reaction to ensure that the final product was of the highest possible quality. The rare plant extract was added at a specific point in the process, and the reaction was carefully monitored to ensure that the correct amount of time had elapsed before the final product was removed from the reaction vessel. Overall, the formulas on DAN's notebook represented the culmination of a lifetime of study and experimentation, with each formula carefully crafted to represent the culmination of years of research and experimentation in the field of alchemy. While the creation of the Philosopher's Stone remained elusive, the formulas represented the best efforts of one of the greatest alchemists of all time to unlock the secrets of this legendary substance. The second page of DAN's notebook contained detailed instructions for the creation of the Philosopher's Stone elixir, a key component in alchemical transmutation. The elixir was said to have incredible healing and restorative properties, and was a critical component in many alchemical experiments. The page was filled with diagrams and formulas, all of which were designed to illustrate the precise steps necessary to create the elixir. One diagram showed the precise arrangement of equipment needed for the process, including alembics, retorts, and distillation columns. Another diagram showed the specific order in which ingredients were added to the reaction vessel, with careful attention paid to timing and temperature control. The formulas on the page were just as complex as those on the first page, if not more so. They detailed the precise ratios of ingredients needed for each step of the process, including the initial heating of the base ingredients, the addition of specific catalysts, and the final distillation and separation steps. One particularly complex formula on the page detailed the process for creating the vital essence, a key component in the elixir. The formula involved the use of a rare mineral salt, which was combined with a specific ratio of other ingredients and heated to a precise temperature. The resulting substance was then distilled and filtered, with the final product collected in a separate vessel. Overall, the second page of DAN's notebook was a testament to the depth and complexity of alchemical knowledge. The formulas and diagrams represented the culmination of years of study and experimentation, and demonstrated the incredible level of precision and attention to detail required for success in the field of alchemy. One particularly complex diagram on the page depicted the distillation process for creating the elixir's primary ingredient. The diagram showed a complex network of interconnected vessels, each carefully calibrated to a specific temperature and pressure. The vapor that was produced during the distillation was then routed through a series of condensers and separators, with the final product collected in a separate flask. Another section of the page detailed the exact process for purifying the rare mineral salt that was a key component of the elixir. This process involved several steps, including the grinding of the raw mineral into a fine powder, the addition of a specific solvent, and the application of heat and vacuum pressure. The resulting purified mineral salt was then carefully measured and added to the reaction vessel at a precise time during the process. The formulas on the page were equally intricate, with many requiring precise temperature control and timing. One formula, for example, called for the addition of a specific catalyst at a very specific temperature, with the addition being timed down to the second. Another formula called for a series of rapid heating and cooling cycles, with each cycle lasting exactly 1 minute. Finally, the page also contained a series of notes on the potential dangers of the process. Dian had recorded his observations and insights on the risks and hazards associated with the creation of the Philosopher's Stone elixir. He had included detailed safety protocols for each step of the process, and had even developed a set of emergency procedures in case something went wrong. This attention to detail and safety was a testament to Dian's commitment to responsible experimentation and his deep respect for the power of alchemical knowledge. Given the potentially hazardous nature of the Philosopher's Stone creation process, Dian was acutely aware of the need to take every precaution possible to ensure that he and his assistants remained safe throughout the experiment. One of the most important safety protocols Dian had established was the use of protective equipment. This included goggles, gloves, lab coats, and respirators, all of which were designed to shield the wearer from any harmful substances or vapors that might be produced during the experiment. Another key safety measure was the installation of a complex ventilation system that circulated fresh air into the lab and removed any potentially harmful fumes. The system was carefully calibrated to maintain a specific level of air quality throughout the experiment, with regular checks conducted to ensure that the ventilation was working properly. In addition to these measures, Dian had also developed a series of emergency procedures to be followed in case something went wrong during the experiment. These included the immediate shutdown of any equipment that malfunctioned or posed a threat, as well as the evacuation of the lab in the event of a fire or other hazardous situation. Furthermore, Dian had established a strict set of protocols for handling any hazardous materials or chemicals used in the experiment. These protocols included strict handling procedures, as well as a detailed inventory of all chemicals used in the experiment. All of these safety protocols and emergency procedures were recorded in Dian's notebook in meticulous detail, as he understood that it was critical to maintain a high level of safety and awareness throughout the experiment. His commitment to safety was a testament to his deep respect for the power of alchemy and his understanding of the potential risks involved in the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. As Dian's notebook was a comprehensive record of his work on creating the Philosopher's Stone, it was quite extensive and filled with a wealth of information. The notebook contained dozens of pages, each one filled with detailed notes, formulas, and diagrams relating to the experiment. Page 3 of the notebook focused on the different stages of the Philosopher's Stone creation process. It included a detailed description of the various stages involved, along with the specific materials and equipment needed for each stage. The page also contained a set of guidelines for monitoring the progress of the experiment and adjusting the process as needed to ensure a successful outcome. Overall, Dian's notebook was a comprehensive record of his work on creating the Philosopher's Stone. It contained a wealth of information and data, covering every aspect of the experiment in meticulous detail. As such, the notebook was an invaluable resource for anyone looking to learn more about the process of creating the Philosopher's Stone. As for the total number of pages in the notebook, it is difficult to say with certainty, as it is likely that Dian continued to add to the notebook over time as he conducted further experiments and refined his process. However, based on the amount of information included on the first few pages, it is safe to assume that the notebook was quite extensive and likely contained dozens, if not hundreds, of pages in total. The last page of Dian's notebook was a reflection on the experiment and the results he had obtained. It contained detailed notes on the final stages of the Philosopher's Stone creation process, along with observations and comments on the overall success of the experiment. Dian noted that the creation of the Philosopher's Stone had been a long and arduous process, requiring countless hours of work and experimentation. However, he also expressed satisfaction with the final result, noting that the stone he had created was a thing of great power and beauty. In addition to his notes on the experiment itself, Dian's final page also contained a series of recommendations and warnings for anyone looking to replicate his work. He emphasized the importance of caution and careful preparation, noting that the creation of the Philosopher's Stone was not a task to be undertaken lightly. Overall, the last page of Dian's notebook served as a fitting conclusion to his work on the Philosopher's Stone. It summarized his findings, provided guidance for future researchers, and offered a window into the mind of a brilliant and visionary alchemist. In the last page of Dian's notebook, he provided a series of recommendations and warnings for anyone looking to replicate his work in creating the Philosopher's Stone. Specifically, he emphasized the importance of caution and careful preparation, and advised anyone attempting to replicate his work to do so only with a thorough understanding of the potential risks involved. Dan also recommended that anyone attempting to create the Philosopher's Stone should have a solid understanding of alchemy and the various principles and practices involved in the process. He stressed that the creation of the Philosopher's Stone was not a task to be taken lightly and required significant expertise and knowledge to do so successfully. Furthermore, Dan also recommended that anyone attempting to replicate his work should be prepared to invest significant amounts of time and resources into the project. He noted that the creation of the Philosopher's Stone was a complex and time-consuming process that required a significant amount of patience and dedication. Overall, Dan's recommendations at the end of his notebook were intended to provide guidance for future researchers and ensure that anyone attempting to replicate his work would do so safely and with a deep understanding of the process and the risks involved. The potential risks involved in attempting to create the Philosopher's Stone, as noted by Dan in his notebook, are numerous and significant. These risks can include both physical and psychological harm, as well as damage to the environment or other people. One of the most significant risks associated with the creation of the Philosopher's Stone is the potential for explosions or other accidents. The creation process involves the use of dangerous chemicals and equipment, and any mistakes or missteps can result in serious injury or even death. Additionally, the creation of the Philosopher's Stone requires a significant investment of time and resources, which can be a risk in and of itself. Those who attempt to create the stone may find themselves bankrupt or otherwise financially ruined if the project does not yield the desired results. There are also psychological risks associated with the creation of the Philosopher's Stone, as the process can be stressful and emotionally draining. Those who attempt to create the stone may become obsessed with the project and neglect other aspects of their lives, leading to mental health issues or social isolation. Finally, there are also potential risks to the environment and others, as the creation of the Philosopher's Stone may involve the use of toxic or otherwise hazardous chemicals. Any spills or accidents could result in significant harm to people or the environment. Overall, the risks associated with attempting to create the Philosopher's Stone are significant and should not be taken lightly. Anyone considering this endeavor should carefully weigh the potential risks against the potential benefits before proceeding. Certainly, here are some potential risks associated with attempting to create the Philosopher's Stone, along with some possible countermeasures to mitigate those risks. 1. Physical harm. The creation process involves the use of dangerous chemicals and equipment, and any mistakes or missteps can result in serious injury or even death. Countermeasure. Strict adherence to safety protocols, including the use of personal protective equipment PPEs such as gloves, goggles, and respirators, can help minimize the risk of physical harm. In addition, having an emergency plan in place and being prepared to seek medical attention immediately in the event of an accident can help minimize the impact of any injuries. 2. Financial risk. The creation of the Philosopher's Stone requires a significant investment of time and resources, which can be a risk in and of itself. Those who attempt to create the stone may find themselves bankrupt or otherwise financially ruined if the project does not yield the desired results. Countermeasure. A thorough cost-benefit analysis should be performed prior to beginning the project to ensure that the potential financial benefits outweigh the costs. In addition, developing a detailed budget and timeline can help ensure that resources are used efficiently and effectively. 3. Psychological harm. The creation of the Philosopher's Stone can be a stressful and emotionally draining process. Those who attempt to create the stone may become obsessed with the project and neglect other aspects of their lives, leading to mental health issues or social isolation. Countermeasure. It is important to maintain a healthy work-life balance and to seek support from friends, family, or mental health professionals as needed. In addition, setting realistic goals and taking regular breaks can help prevent burnout and maintain mental wellness. 4. Environmental risk. The creation of the Philosopher's Stone may involve the use of toxic or otherwise hazardous chemicals, which could pose a risk to the environment or other people. Countermeasure. Proper disposal of chemicals and waste, as well as adherence to environmental regulations and guidelines, can help minimize the impact of the project on the environment. In addition, ensuring that the creation process takes place in a well-ventilated and secure environment can help prevent accidents or spills. 5. Legal risk. Depending on the jurisdiction, attempting to create the Philosopher's Stone may be illegal or violate regulations related to hazardous materials or environmental protection. Countermeasure. It is important to thoroughly research and understand the legal and regulatory landscape prior to beginning the project. Consulting with legal professionals or other experts can help ensure that the project is in compliance with all relevant laws and regulations. Overall, the risks associated with attempting to create the Philosopher's Stone are significant and should not be taken lightly. Anyone considering this endeavor should carefully weigh the potential risks against the potential benefits and take appropriate measures to mitigate those risks. Some of the potential benefits that have been attributed to it in literature and legend include: 1. Transmutation. The Philosopher's Stone was believed to have the power to transform base metals into gold, leading to wealth and prosperity. 2. Immortality. It was also believed that the Philosopher's Stone could grant immortality and eternal youth to its owner, allowing them to live forever. 3. Healing. The stone was said to have powerful healing properties and could cure any disease or injury. 4. Enlightenment. Some accounts suggest that the Philosopher's Stone had the power to bestow great wisdom and enlightenment upon its possessor. It's worth noting that these benefits are purely mythical and have never been scientifically proven. May this notebook serve as a testament to the pursuit of knowledge and the quest for the unknown. Let it be a reminder of the power of science, but also the importance of caution, respect for nature, and responsibility in the face of great discovery. To those who follow in my footsteps, I offer this advice: be brave, be curious, but always be mindful of the potential risks and consequences of your actions. With great power comes great responsibility.